Psalm 44. That means we are at week number 44 in the Psalms. So we're getting quite a ways, but we have quite a ways to go. We haven't gone even a third of the way yet, because there's 150 of them. But this psalm is fascinating from one particular standpoint of the fact that it has nothing uplifting. We're going to get to the end of the psalm, and there's going to be no answers to the questions. There's going to be absolutely nothing in here that tells us that if we do this, this happens. It's going to take everything that we have known and learned and understood about the grace of God and how he operates in our lives and how the way that we live, the way that we act, and the natural outcome of the things that happen, and how that's not there. We're going to start off by saying we got a psalm here that talks about, here you have the writer, and the writer is a we, so it's a group of people that are writing. Okay, and it starts off with we are calling upon God because we don't understand why nothing is going right. Everything is going wrong that could go wrong. We are being faithful to you. We are trying to do everything that you call us to do. We are trying to act righteously. We are understanding the fact that we have sin in our lives, but we are asking for forgiveness. You tell us to go do this, we go do it. You tell us to do that, we go do it. And we're doing all of these things, and we're totally trusting in you, and everything is going wrong. It makes no sense. I can't follow and I can't fathom why this is. This is what Psalm 44 is about. But it will teach us something, I assure you, because the Bible is so beautiful in that regards that no matter how confusing it may seem at the beginning, it has something to teach us, and that something is really good. Starting off with verses 1 through 8 and verses 9 through 26, which is the whole psalm. But verses 1 through 8 is laying out our case, remembering our history of your blessings on us and our fathers. And that's why I named this psalm, the title of this psalm as, the faith of our fathers. And that's why the last song is Faith of Our Fathers. Verses 9 through 26, all the blessings, all the wonderful things that have happened to our forefathers when they were worshiping you, when they were doing what was right, we're doing the same thing and we're receiving none of it. It makes no sense. So starting off with verses 1 and 2. O God, we have heard with our ears, our fathers have told us the work that you did in their days, in the days of old. With you and your own hand drove out the nations, then you planted them, you afflicted the peoples, then you spread them abroad. Lord, we remember because our fathers have told us all the things that have happened. The way that you took our forefathers out of Israel, out of Egypt, and you brought us into this new land. How you opened up the waters, how we passed on through across the Jordan, and we were able to come in and take over this land. And we did it all because of the way that you provided for us. We did it all because you were our strength. You were our shield. You were our sword. Our fathers told us about this. Verse 3, for by their own sword they did not possess the land, and their own arm did not save them. But your right hand, your arm, and the light of your presence, for you favored them. We even understand the fact that our forefathers, the same, they knew it wasn't them that were winning these battles. It wasn't because they had became such mighty warriors. It was because you, Lord, blessed them. You, Lord, provided for them. You, Lord, gave them victory after victory after victory. And they were following you. They were doing what you said they needed to do. They were being faithful to you. They were trusting in you. And so are we. But the results are so different. Verses 4 and 5, you are my king, O God. Command victories for Jacob. Though Through you, we will push back our adversaries. Through your name, we will trample down those who rise up against us. Here again, it's through you, God. We know that all of these things will happen because of you. All the victories that we will win is because of you. We know this. We understand it. Our trust is totally in you, Lord. Verses 6 through 8, for I will not trust in my bow, nor will my sword save me. But you have saved us from our adversaries, and you have put to shame those who hate us. And in God we have boasted all day long, and we give thanks to your name forever. Selah. The word Selah again, stop, pause, reflect. We put our trust in you. We know it's you. It's not my bow, it's not my sword that saved us, but you saved us from our adversaries. You are the reason that we are here. You have put to shame those who hate us. So the enemies around us, you've put them to shame. You've shown yourself to be Almighty God. You've shown that who you are. And we trust you. And we actually go around boasting about the fact of who you are. We're boasting on the fact to people, whatever opportunity we get, do you know my God? You know the power of my God, the greatness of my God? We're going around and we're bragging on you. And we will give thanks to your name forever. This is not just a temporary little uplifting thing. I'm not just happen to feel good for the moment. No, it will continue on and on and on. Verses 9 and 10. Yet you have rejected us and brought us to dishonor, and you do not go out with our armies. And you cause us to turn back from the adversary, and those who hate us have taken spoil for themselves. We've been doing all these things, God. All the things that you call us to do, we're putting our trust totally in you. We're not dependent upon our armies, our swords, our arrows, or any of these things. And what happens? You reject us. I don't understand. We go out to battle. We lose. Our adversaries are just chasing us down. They're acting as though you don't even exist. Verse 11 through 13, you gave us as sheep to be eaten and have scattered us among the nations. You sell your people cheaply and have not profited by their sale. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scoffing and a derision to those around us. You send us out like sheep just to be slaughtered. You scattered us. Not only have we been taken from our land, we've been scattered all over. And you sell us so cheaply. You didn't even get anything out of it. There's no benefit to you, Lord, for allowing this to happen. There's no praise to you. Because from all indications, you're a weak God. Nothing good is happening. Your people are being faithful, and their hope is in you. But is their hope mislaid? I don't understand. Verses 17 through 19. All this has come upon us, but we have not forgotten you, and we have not dealt falsely with your covenant. Our heart has not turned back, and our steps have not deviated from your way. Yet you have crushed us in a place of jackals and covered us with a shadow of death. Even though all these terrible things are happening, even though we put all of our trust in you and absolutely no good is coming out of it, we're still going to trust you. We're still going to hold out hope that you are going to save us. We haven't lost hope. We haven't been beat down to the point of rejecting you. And still you leave us in the place of jackals. You leave us in a dangerous place. And over top of us, we just feel the heaviness of the shadow of death is over us. Verses 20 through 22. If we had forgotten the name of our God or extended our hands to a strange God, would God not find out? for he knows the secrets of the heart. But for your sake, we are killed all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered. I could understand all of these things happening if I had gone after other gods. I could understand all these things happening to us if we had been unfaithful to you. I could understand all of these things happening if we hadn't trusted in you, if we hadn't been faithful to you, if we haven't continued to serve you, to worship you, to believe in you, to hope in you. If we stopped doing that, I could understand. But we haven't. We've done none of these things. But yet, nothing positive is happening. Verses 23 and 24. Arouse yourself. Why do you sleep, O Lord? Awake and do not reject us forever. Why do you hide your face and forget our affliction and our oppression? In other words, God, you must be sleeping. Wake up. Can't you hear me? Don't reject me forever. I've been calling and calling and calling, and I'm getting no response. I can put in my faith in you, my hope in you, my trust in you, and nothing good is happening. Why are you hiding your face from me? Verse 25 and 26. For our soul has sunk down into the dust. Our body cleaves to the earth. Rise up to be our help, and redeem us for the sake of your loving kindness. I am so beaten down. I am so beaten down by the circumstances of life that are happening right now. Even though I put my faith in you, I put my trust in you, my hope is in you. I know you are a great and loving God, and all of these terrible things are happening, but I am so beaten down, I'm now laying in the dust. I have put myself down there to the dust of the earth, from dust to dust. I feel as though I no longer have any value in your eyes, because I was created from dust, and now I feel as though that's all I am, is dust. Rise up. Be my help. Please, Lord. Why? Redeem us for the sake of your loving kindness. I still believe in your loving kindness, but it's not happening. And you know what's really strange? We're waiting for that answer, aren't we? This is the end of the psalm. It ends there. Like I told you, it's a different one. But it still has plenty of wonderful things to teach us. It's the end of the psalm. It's a plea for loving kindness that goes unanswered. There was another scenario like this that we have from Scripture. There's this guy that lived a long time ago by the name of, I've heard some people call him Job. It's actually pronounced Job. All right. So let's take a little bit of a look at Job here a minute, and then we'll see a little bit of a correlation between Job and Psalm 44. Job chapter 4, verses 1, 7, and 8. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered, remember now, who is ever punished be an innocent? Or where are the upright destroyed? According to what I've seen, those who plow iniquity and those who sow trouble harvest it. Oh, this is a perfect example of life, okay? We go out and we do good, we be good, and we will receive good. We go out and we do bad and we do bad things, we will receive bad things. This is life, right? This is how it works. The good things get us good things, the bad things get us bad things. I mean, Eliphaz has this figured out. And then let's look at Bildad, his buddy, in Job 8, 1 through 4. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, how long will you say these things, and the words of your mouth be mighty wind? Does God pervert justice, or does the Almighty pervert what is right? If your sons sin against him, then they are deliver them to the power of their transgressions. In other words, Job had these sons, and they would get together every so often on somebody's birthday at the house of whoever it was, and then they would have this big feast together, and there would be one time time they would get together, and that's what happened was, of course, the mighty wind came and blew the house down and killed all his kids. And now you have this wonderful friend, Bildad, saying, they're dead because they sinned. Let's face the reality. If they hadn't sinned, they'd be alive. But that's how it works. You sin against God, you turn against God, and he will punish you. Because that's how God operates. Can you imagine the frustration in Job's mind when he's hearing his friends tell him that your sons are dead because they sinned? In Job 11, verses 1 and 13 through 15. Then Zophar, the Nethamite, answered, if you would direct your heart right and spread out your hands to him, if iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and do not let wickedness dwell in your tent. Then indeed you could lift up your face without moral defect, and you would be steadfast and not fear. In other words, Job, it's obvious you're a sinner. It's obvious that there's something wrong with what you're doing in life, and this is why all these terrible things have come upon you. So you have each one of these three friends are explaining to Job how there's definitely a correlation between doing good, receive blessings, do bad, receive curses. We go through life with that same mindset. Many people in this world go through that concept, whether they believe in God or not. They call it karma. Okay, it's going to catch up with you. That's the way the world operates. That's the way our God operates. Our God operates the way that he deems right at the time. Our God operates in a way that is best. We're going to learn this. In Job 31, verses 5 and 6, and I had to do this in the King James Version because our version doesn't do it right. It's right, but it's not clear. Well, maybe a better way to put it. If I had walked in vanity, or if my foot hath hastened to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know my integrity. In other words, Job is saying back to his friends, okay, take all the good things I've done, take all the bad things I've done, and weigh them out, and you will see I've done far more good than bad. That's who I am. And Job was actually correct in that, because Job had done a lot of good things. But he's got that same mindset here. Okay, I do good, I receive good. I do bad, I get bad. That's the way life works. And we're going back a few thousand years. They had that same mindset. We still have that mindset today. In Job 38, 1 through 3, then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is it that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now gird up your loins like a man, and I will ask you, and you instruct me. God came to Job and said, you got all your wisdom, all your smarts, all your understanding. Let me ask you a couple of questions, like, did you create anything? Did you provide for the welfare of all the animals on the earth? Did you make the trees grow? Did you make the planets sit in their place? Did you have anything to do with how far the oceans were going to go and what their borders and boundaries are going to be? Did you have anything to do with the rise and fall of nations over all the time of history? Job, if you've been in charge of all these things all this time, then let's talk. But if you haven't, it's probably a good idea you shut your mouth. Probably. Job 42:7, then it came about after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against you and against your two friends, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Okay, God first starts, kind of puts Job in his place, but then he also puts the three friends in their place. Says, you haven't spoken. You have wisdom that you think is wisdom, but it's not. And here is our answer. Here in this little section of Romans is the answer to everything we've been talking about. Romans 11, verses 33 and 34. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, how unfathomable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, and who has become his counselor? See, our God is wise and knowledgeable. Wisdom directs all things to its best end. Knowledge sees that end and leads in the way it leads to it. See, our God, things happen in the world. Our God, we have this concept like our God needs to explain to us what he's doing. When things happen in our life that make no sense, okay, everything that we thought we knew about God, and it just seems like it's just not right. These things aren't making any sense. Why did you allow this, God? Why did you do this, God? Why all these things happening, God? And he's silent. See, people don't realize that everybody's quite familiar with the story of Job and all of that came out of it. But do you realize the fact that God never once told Job why he did what he did? Job was never told it. See, Psalm 44 is that whole scenario of God doing what he knows is best. But he has no obligation to explain to us why he's doing it. Now, with Job, we know why. But we know why Job never did in this life. I'm sure he knows now. But in this lifetime, he did not know. He never received an answer. See, we know that was all done. It was done for our sake. It was done for our benefit. It was done so that we can get a little bit of a glimpse on how God operates and who God is. Because God's loving kindness never went away from Job. Job went through a whole lot of terrible things, but it was also a time in which he proved his faithfulness to his God. And it gives us a challenge. It gives us the challenge of no matter what's happening in our life, where is our faithfulness to our God? Or is our faithfulness to our God based upon what answers he gives us? Okay, if you could explain to me, God, why I'm going through this, then I'll follow you. Or is our faith so sure and so solid that no matter what I see or know or understand, it doesn't matter? But my faith in you is solid. I am going to believe in you. I am going to trust you. I am going to follow you regardless of the circumstances surrounding me. I'm just trusting you to the end. That means the end of this time here on earth. If we get no answers between now and the time that we end here on earth, that's fine. God isn't required to give us answers. He tells us, this is what I want you to do. The writers of the book of the chapter of Psalm 44, they had all sorts of questions. They never received an answer. Job had all sorts of questions. He never received an answer. We may have questions that we do not get an answer. But in each case, we stay faithful. If you notice at the end of Psalm 44, the writers talk about the loving kindness of their God. Job understood the loving kindness of his God. Do we know the loving kindness of our God? See, because we've received all these things from generation upon generation, handed down to us, we can look back and see all the mighty works that God has done in the past, that we know what the reason was. But there's a whole bunch of mighty works that God has done throughout all of history that we have known nothing about. The one thing that we do know is that God does everything for a purpose, and that purpose is for good. It's always for good. No matter what it may seem like now, it's always for good. Our fathers knew it. The writers of Psalm 44, their fathers knew it. So let's have the faith of our fathers.